Version of the criminal offense. Wars. My vision of what is happening. The world is on the verge of disaster. I would like to find a way out of this hopeless situation.
So?
Today capitalism has conquered the whole world. Capital rules the world.
So how does he rule?
The initial capital is not large, but it works from the first minute and constantly, around the clock, growing annually from 7 to 9%. The capitalist invests 20 to 22% based on profit, but this 11 to 15% is lost along the way. As it grows, investing capital in small portions becomes irrational. Corporations and concerns are growing. Capitalism is moving into the highest stage of development, imperialism. Technology and science are developing. The most profitable industry is weapons. Fixed capital is the capital of the military-industrial complex. The final stage of capitalism is coming. Militarization. Capital is increasingly concentrated in one hand, the clan. To free up space for a new round of capitalism, a significant part of capital must be destroyed. This is war. Organization of war. And in order not to get hurt yourself, you need to choose a safe place for war. Polygon. The clan that builds its capital through war chooses the place where this will take place. And since these acts are criminal, it is necessary to hide the ends. For this purpose, intermediate links for transmitting commands are created. These are public organizations such as the UN. Well, of course, secret advisors. The first public link in this criminal conspiracy is the president's. Preparing for war. Main stages. Production of weapons. Saturation of the parties with approximately equal weapons. The organizers do not need a quick war. They need the sale of weapons first. Creation of military personnel. In addition to permanent personnel, various patriotic organizations are being created. Preparing the population for war. Instilling hostility on any basis. As a rule, this is a whole complex of events. Training the younger generation of future military personnel. For this purpose, pseudo-education is created, the appearance of education. Empty tasks, empty talk. Literature and history are usually replaced by conversations about the subject. To confirm my words, take the school curriculum about literature. How many hours are allocated for reading? In class there is a discussion of works that 95% of students have never seen. Story. Find out how the common people who were not involved in the war lived. And in peacetime, general indicators of the development of industry and agriculture are considered in the light of a future war. A thinking and educated person will never take up arms. But for those who do not think, a slogan is enough to carry out the command. War requires the dregs of society. War requires the dregs of society. For this purpose, disrespect for the older generation, dissidents, religion, language, nationality is cultivated. Anything on the basis of which a conflict will subsequently build. Youth is being molested. After all, this is the most psychologically unstable stratum of the population. And at the same time, she is capable of active, unthought-out actions. Thinking people are not needed for war. They are even dangerous. The clan has already thought and decided for them. Structure and tactics of war. Clan henceforth I will call the puppeteer. Why puppeteer? Because he is constantly in the shadows. The first public figure who voices the order is the president, we will call him the doll. The puppeteer does not directly control the puppet, as in a puppet theater the puppeteer controls a marionette. I compare it with just such a doll because it is controlled using threads invisible to the eye. And between the puppeteer and the doll there are several more intermediate links for the masses to misunderstand what is happening. My conclusions are based on the following facts. The Kennedy doll is out of control. He was killed in public. Before the second round, Zelensky went to report to Macron that he was ready to be a doll.
And so there is only one puppeteer.
There is one puppeteer for both sides of the war. He organizes a war. They control this entire process. The objectives of a military conflict are to make money. An entire financial pyramid is being built for this purpose. At the top of which there is a puppeteer and earns huge fortunes. He also makes sure that the performers are paid in accordance with their rank in this structure. The puppeteer knows in advance where, how and how much he will earn. How long the conflict will last is also planned in advance. Therefore, the side that begins to lose is supplied with stronger weapons to maintain the conflict. Therefore, Putin and Zelensky have one leader in the conflict in Ukraine. The presidents themselves may not know this. And even if they know and realize it, they can no longer leave the game. They know a lot and the fate of Kennedy awaits them. A little about the tactics of modern warfare. In modern warfare, the most vile methods are used. The use of civilians, including children, women, and elderly people, as human shields is considered the norm. Modern strategists do not deny this and argue that it is necessary. Why did I stop at this point? Kharkov City.
Murder.
A baby in broad daylight in front of his mother. There are no criminals. Va. Or maybe there still is. The opposing sides are forced to go to the end. Because the winner is not judged. Or maybe the puppeteer needs to be stopped. It's the puppeteer. This is a crime against Her Majesty Nature. In front of planet Earth. After all, she is alive. And we are a cancerous tumor on it. Natural resources are not limitless. Maybe it's time for us to stop? This is my version of crimes in Ukraine today. Before us were Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan. And tomorrow you will be. If you don't change anything, then nothing will change. And just like that. Reflections. What is a billion? 1 billion, average earnings in Ukraine are about $500 a month. Over 40 years of work experience, a person earns 500 times 12 times 40 is equal to $240,000. For people earn $1 million in their lifetime. Our community of 6,500 people earns $1.5 billion over the course of its entire working life. For what merit can one person make such a sum in a year? And I really want to sit like an old man on a bench in the park and just watch how the kids frolic and their mothers smile with happiness, how the students chirp and the students decide to go for a beer or football. Just enjoy the sun, the green grass, the splash of water. After all, we were lucky enough to be born and live on such a beautiful planet as Earth.